Welcome back, everybody, to round 3.
Here we are with our beautiful modern stylings.
The modern stylings of Grixis control and turbo turns.
Is this so are these matches that we're watching tonight, is this a snapback from these hyper aggressive Death Shadow decks? Is the format rolling into a control shell, you think?
No, absolutely not. Control's unplayable right now.
Alright, we're just the meta here.
Yes.
Alright.
No, Jeskai control's actually pretty good.
Okay.
I think this Grixis control deck is less good if it's just like hard control. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it's got like some Gurmag Anglers and some Tassigers and...
Sure. You want a control deck that wins with like a Nicole Bolas Planeswalker.
You're not lying. I want a control deck that wins by Snapcaster Maging a Cruel Ultimatum. That's where I want to be. Or as for holding a Cruel Ultimatum.
Man, that would be a big game.
That would be the biggest.
The whole damn game. Alright. Corey's on 6 cards with a scry. Puts one to the bottom.
6 with a scry.
Let's see if Patrick can navigate this turns deck.
I think Patrick's a little more comfortable playing control in this format.
Mm-hmm. Alright, he leaves them both on top. That's
Aggressive is what that is.
Yeah, too much?
I didn't see what they were, so I can't say for sure, but...
One was a Serum Visions, which... I don't hate that. Here's a card that's probably not at its peak in this matchup. The,
Yeah, that's a solid card, but I don't know how good it is in this particular matchup. You're right.
This matchup's not where you want to draw that card.
But although, if he's planning on winning on the back of Gurmag Anglers, this does get him another turn.
Sure.
Snapcaster Bolt. Joel's draws another Bolt.
Oh man, are we short on land? Nope, here's a Swamp. Yeah, we... Alright, so he's...
Alright, so 4 land.
We got Remand in hand.
Remand and an Exhaustion. Both of which could be very solid here. I think Remand especially if Patrick's going to miss a land drop here.
Yeah, because I think Patrick's definitely going to feel the pressure of...
Oh, and here's Explore. 2 mana, draw a card, play an additional land. Pretty solid. Most notable for the classic Alex Bertoncini.
This is the best Remand you can possibly have.
I think remanding the Ancestral is better, but this is definitely amongst them.
Alright.
Alright, now it's time for Corey to start taking turns. He desperately...
Here's Time Warp. This is
Time Warp reads, target player takes an extra turn.
So you'll notice that when he cast that card...
He took an extra turn.
He took an extra turn. And here's Exhaustion, which doesn't actually give him an extra turn.
Might as well. Although, in this case,
but if
Patrick had the land and could go land, bolt this Jace, that would be huge.
Yes, it would be...
Corey's actually leaning quite heavily on this Jace right now.
Yes, because this Jace is going to flip next turn, and that's going to let him flash back one of these Time Warps. Man, terminate down. I wonder what Corey really needs is a crew fix, a dictative crew fix, or a howling mine.
I think he's got a dictate.
Alright, so here's the other side of Jace. This card was a powerhouse in its standard environment and has -2 target card. You may cast it. It gives it flashback basically. Oh, I'm sorry. It's -3, so it goes to 2. That's right. I'm trying to remember the exactsies when I played this.
Going up. So to part the water veil.
Alright, so he's chosen to part the water veil here.
Well, now he gets some -Jace twice, which is relevant. Oh man, and that's actually a big one there.
Yeah, that's a very lucky miracle.
Look, man. Sometimes the... Oh, here's a...
Part the water veil.
Here's a sorcery. Let's see what he's going to do with this Jace.
So what this part the water veil does is it not only gives him an extra turn, but the awaken ability gives him a win condition.
Correct.
We saw in round 1 he was able to put the counters on a Inkmoth Nexus, which then just makes that card lethal in 2 swings.
Absolutely.
What happened? Did he just -Jace to Serum Visions?
Yeah, he needs to set up some card advantage here. He still gets another one, and he's also taking an extra turn off of this Temporal Mastery from this turn.
Okay. So the accidental extra turn is what let him do that.
Yeah. I don't know what this last card in hand is, but we'll see.
He's got to think hard here. Alright, so I think this last card is a Cryptic Command.
Unsubstantiate.
Oh, wow, that's... Alright. And Counter Squall.
So, drawing 3 extra cards doesn't matter much when you can't cast any of them. A land and bolt here would be phenomenal. I don't know if he drew a land. Oh, he did. He does have a land. Land, bolt, Jace would be very big.
Yes. As Corey has 0 cards in hand, he needs this Jace to be able to flash back one of these turns cards. Oh man. It's one of the better lands you can imagine having.
Land, bolt, Jace. Very strong here. 8 cards in hand, he's going to have to discard for turn. I got to imagine this Serum Vision is going to bite the dust. And there we go. So anything we do is going to start with tick up Jace. So if Corey doesn't have... Even if Corey draws an extra turn spell, I don't think he wants to cast it here because you really, really need to chain these.
Correct. I think
the problem now is that he's going to have to fight through counter magic.
Correct.
Oh, man. Hit the part the water veil, kills the Jace. Patrick's back in this game.
Yep.
After a pretty bad brick there by Corey on the old turbo turn.
Yeah, he took about 6 turns in a row.
Yeah, got to ramp a lot, but doesn't mean much unless you have that extra card draw. That's what really generates the extra value there.
Thinking hard about the Tasker play here. And Patrick's still surprisingly light on land. I mean, I think for a control deck, you expect to hit your land drops for the first 4 or 5 turns.
Right, well, he missed on 1 turn.
Right.
Might have been 2. but he has hit every turn since the Ancestral went off.
Yep. And the writing's on the wall for Corey here.
Yeah, this is not great shape here.
I could see a series of turns where, like Giga Drowse becomes very important.
Yeah.
Or if he has like a well-timed cryptic command.
I think Howling Mine is pretty strong here. I don't agree with spell snaring it. I think that it was a very risky play by Corey, but it was
Necessary.
kind of a Hail Mary. Down to 4. And with Cryptic Command in hand, Patrick's going to walk away with this one.
Yep.
So there we have it. The draw was Cryptic Command. Corey drew pretty well there at the end, but because he didn't have the card advantage
Right.
during all those extra turns,
Absolutely.
he just completely ran out of gas.
Yeah, it shows you how important those cards are. I think they're so important to the point where I would, if Patrick were to like tap out at the end of turn to like, you know, do something silly, I would sneak a Dictative Crucifix in at the end of my own turn. You know, just I need that in play whenever I can get it in play.
I agree that it's important, but I think part of the reason why it's so important is because it's one of the few spells you can play on your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying against this control deck, it's going to get countered. I think Patrick knows. He knows what's up.
That's fine.
And unless Corey can set up the dictate into exhaustion, you know, turn sequence that we saw before.
Right, or dictate into take an extra turn to build mana to get a Howling Mine out, as well as take extra turns, or any number of things.
Right.
I think the number one thing that Corey has to do here is to open Patrick up by getting him to tap mana on his turn.
Yes, being on the draw, I don't even think, like, if I'm Patrick, I don't even think that, like, Island Ancestral Visions is that good. I would just go Island Go, feigning that I could counterspell your Howling Mine. Because if Corey can run into just an open board with a Howling Mine...
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to
or
do
like
it
an
every
open
time.
board into a Jace. So I saw the guy who got second at GP Vegas did a write-up of his blue-black controllers, blue-black turns list.
Mm-hmm.
He said he liked the blue-black version more, and that the one thing that he thought the mono-blue version could do better was that Jace Bellerin was much better than Jace Vryn's Prodigy if you really wanted an extra effect there.
Okay.
But I really like Jace Vryn's Prodigy here.
Yeah, I thought the sequence where he could minus it twice to take 2 turns, you know what I mean, where it represented 2 turns.
Right.
It was huge.
And I think I think Corey was right to plus Jace there. Realizing that these extra turns that he was taking weren't worth anything without that extra card draw.
Right.
But that just shows you how important that card draw is.
Right. Counter Squall was big there for Patrick, though. That card really shone through.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's one of those cards that these Grixis decks play that some matchups is just not very impressive.
Yeah, there's always plays against almost any deck where it's very, very good. But unless you have that specific play lined up, then it's usually just harder to cast and negate.
Right. Like, I can't imagine it's good against the Death Shadow decks.
It can be. Because they have to be so tight on their life management, because you've got Bolt and Snapcaster. Like, they can't afford to go to 8 against you.
Right.
Looks like Corey's keeping at 7. Let's see if Patrick shares. No, Patrick does not share the sentiment. Going down to 6. So on the draw here, Corey, I think Corey's deck mulligans very poorly. Because every card matters so much. Whereas in this matchup, I think Patrick can very easily afford to go to 6. So Counter Squall doesn't do a great job of stopping Thoughtseizes, but K Command certainly.
Yes, concur.
Obviously, there are good targets in the Death Shadow deck, but the main issue there with Counter Squall is A, you're enabling their Death Shadow by helping them quote unquote lose a small increment of life. And B, they're running a ton of discards, so naturally, counter spells are just going to be much less effective. It looks like he's setting himself up for a miracle here in a couple turns. Yeah, we're going to get a nice explore. Land go from Patrick. Corey with a turn 2 Thing in the Ice. There's a different win condition.
Yeah, this one is... So I'm wondering if this is a sideboard in which case, like, he's gambling that Patrick took out all his removal, the Terminates and stuff went out.
Yeah, the Terminates certainly, but we see Patrick's hand with a Bolt and a K Command, neither of which is going to be particularly good here. Suddenly this Explorer, when it means taking a counter off this Thing in the Ice, is very good. We're just chaining them off here. Oh.
Alright, so now if he can cast any 2 spells.
So they have to be instants and sorceries.
Sure.
Let's see what Patrick can do to combat this Thing in the Ice. He really wants to get enough mana to be able to Cryptic and bounce it.
See, you would think they're just random Miracle Temporal Master. Oh, he didn't cast the...
Oh, and he drew the Exhaustion, too.
Now he's set up. So next turn, Corey... So this turn, I can't imagine Corey not dictating at the end of Patrick's turn and then following up with Exhaustion on Corey's turn.
Right.
This is exactly the line that he wants to have available to him.
Oh, here we go. Running it out there. I didn't see what he discarded.
See, this isn't what...
It was a Temporal Mastery they discarded. Kept the Exhaustion. That's very interesting.
Yeah, so I guess getting this Dictate in play is going to yield him a...
So if...
Yield him a ton of cards, and eventually he's going to be able to overwhelm Patrick.
Well, I don't know that it will. So if you give Patrick the card advantage first, and let him have the counter magic to counter your extra turns.
But you have Thing in the Ice. Like, every time you cast a spell, you're getting closer to this giant monster that can multi-turn him. Just kill him over the course of 2 or 3 turns. So this is exactly what he wants.
He wanted an extra land there so he could take an extra turn. It doesn't look like that's the case, and it looks like Patrick left up Countersquall Magic as well.
Right.
So I think Corey's just in the business of building a very strong hand at this point. Here's Dictated Crewfix.
This is a Howling Mine with Flash.
The Flash is relevant because you can play it on your opponent's turn, and that way you get the draw effect first, although that wasn't the case in this game. Alright, he's got a whole bunch of extra turns in his hand. He just needs to find the opening now.
I'm really surprised we haven't seen a Giga Drowse. I wonder if it's just not in his list.
We definitely saw it in round 1.
I just think these control matchups are exactly where you want it.
It might be in his deck, you just could be not drawing it. Tron Beetle has commented, and I agree, that TT is so fresh.
Fresh?
Fresh. As in Subway.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so getting the untap. Man, Patrick hitting all of his land drops. Corey has missed 2 land drops in a row and is now behind on the mana count.
Not where he wants to be.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, this round has not shaped up. I don't think any of the draws here have been the way Corey thinks they should go for himself. You know what I mean? He missing
Finally
land
hits a
drops,
land.
missing Serum Visions.
There's a Giga Drowse.
Okay, Giga Drowse.
Land. Probably want these both.
Yep. All right.
So end of turn, we'll be able to tap 3 lands from Patrick. We could get all of his black mana, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that takes away the counter squall that was so dominant in the last game. Alright, that helps. That helps with this Giga Drowse that's coming in.
Let's see if he taps more mana. If he casts anything else, that's tremendous for Corey.
Yeah.
I don't like the Giga Drowse here, because you can only hit 3.
Oh my.
So we have a Sphinx. And it looks like this one's going to get the last word here.
This is quite the Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of text on it. Can't be countered, first of all. That's why it's in play. It's got flying. It's got hexproof. And everything, all the instant sorcery can't be countered.
That's going to be a big game if Corey gets untapped with it. Embarking like a lily off the top.
Alright. Man, that Sphinx is going to just... I mean, it's 4-turn clock, basically.
It's a 1-turn clock.
How do you calculate?
Patrick's not going to get another turn.
Oh,
Because Corey gets to take
all the
these
turns.
extra turns now.
Right, because his spells can't be countered, sure. This is not incidental. Alright, well.
So Patrick can tap and draw this with the Cryptic Command to buy a turn on the Sphinx, but without being able to counter any of these extra turns that are coming down, I don't think it's going to matter.
Right. Yeah, man, I'll bet you Patrick wishes he had opened a Mind Twist invocation here. In the sealed deck.
This is modern,
I know,
and it's still not legal.
Concur. I'm just saying that type of effect's the only thing that saves him here. It doesn't even save him, it just keeps him in the game.
Yeah, just a Liliana of the Veil would save him.
Yeah, there's no way that card's in his deck.
I don't disagree. How about that? How about that? I don't know what he's hoping to accomplish there, but here we are.
Yeah, if Corey has 4...
Corey, I think, has taken 2 from a Colgan's Command and 3 from a Bolt.
Alright.
So it looks like we're going to swing in here for 5, put him down to 10, and that should do it.
Yep, so Corey's just going to probably just show him the appropriate...
Tapped the wrong stack for that, but whatever.
Alright.
Nice and quick there at the end. 23 minutes for game 3. This one's going to be a battle.
Man, I love it. I love this. We've had some really interesting standard battles tonight.
Modern
battles, whatever. Hot modern action.
All right, so this is interesting. So let's see if Patrick has an answer for the Sphinx.
So you're right. Liliana the Veil would be a big one. I don't know what else. I don't know what else. What else is possible?
I can't think of any commonly played answers other than Lily here.
Right.
I mean, it could be like a damnation or something, obviously, but
Is that card's not modern legal, although it would be a sweet modern legal card. Chainer's Edict.
sure. Yeah.
How are you guys enjoying the Does the chat love the turbo turns deck?
They're mostly just complaining about you.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really mentioned anything about Magic. They're just mono talking smack about you.
All right, sweet. You guys can all, you know, if you ever wanna bring it to my face, let me know. Let me know. Come face to face with the man.
That's a very bro-y answer there.
I've been lifting a lot. It's hard to keep the bro rage down.
Yeah. Summerless Run Devour Flesh has been announced, and that's a pretty solid one.
Ooh.
I don't know that I'm high on that card in this format, but in this matchup, sure. I mean, if you just need your one out.
Isn't Devour Flesh similar to Tribute to Hunger? Wasn't that one where, like, you gain life or something?
Yeah.
I could see Tribute to Hunger being like a real Grixis control card.
Or, you know, Devour Flesh.
Or Devour Flesh. What is Devour Flesh? Has a different effect. Like,
you have literally the entire internet at your fingertips.
Jeez.
Be a man and look it up.
Oh. The sacrificing player gains life equal to the toughness, and then Tribute to Hunger is you gain life equal to the toughness.
But it costs more.
Costs one more to Tribute to Hunger. So, yeah, your choice there. If you wanna wait a turn, or if you want to.
We have a nice comment in the chat here that only lifting Magic players do is their deck.
Disagree.
So if that were true, the most swole Magic player would be the player who played blue-black taking turns at this Grand Prix in Vegas. Because that deck was quad-sleeved.
Are you serious? Do I need to go back and watch this quad sleeve deck?
Yes.
So it's got a perfect fit on it.
It's got a perfect fit.
A regular sleeve.
Yes.
And then, like, the sleeve that protects your sleeve.
The character sleeve, yeah.
Is that what that's called, a character sleeve?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's
a hard sleeve. It's not a top loader, but a KMC hard sleeve.
Interesting. Speaking of sleeves, we need to buy Patrick. I hope Patrick wins so we can get some store credit to buy 75 sleeves.
Yeah, or, you know, like 5 more, however many.
He's unsleeving and resleeving sideboard cards, which is fine. I mean, it keeps the sleeves uniform, so that there aren't some with more wear than others. But I think most of the manufactured sleeves right now have a enough durability that you can't tell the difference between your sideboarded and not sideboarded sleeves. Alright, here we come.
Corey waxing poetic about the Kamigawa standard days, which both you and I played in.
Yeah, man, I'm 100% sure this article exists, but I wish I had like a timeline in my, because it gets confused in my brain as to like what decks were when and what decks came before others and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish I had like that. I wish I had that article like on hand that I could like reference it and like remember back to like, okay, I played this before that and like you know what I mean.
Remember the time.
Right.
Serum Visions, both
See
to the top
lands,
again.
keeps them on top. Yeah, hitting all your land drops in this deck is muy importante.
Yes, you want to get all of them.
What do we got down here?
So you have someone filling you in that Pod was before Twin, which was before Eldrazi Winter, which was before Eldrad Tron Death Shadow.
Oh,
Giving you a little history lesson over the past 2 years.
of Modern?
Yeah, like clearly all that's Modern.
Listen, I've been playing Modern since the beginning.
Oh my. I got to spec buy cards the day that Modern was announced.
Would you spec on Cryptic Commands?
No, I hit big time. I got Hypergenesis for $1. I got Grove.
Oh, did they not announce the ban list at the same time?
No, Hypergenesis wasn't on the first ban list.
No way.
It wasn't.
Quickly added.
Yeah, it was like the second tournament, I think. I got Grove of the Burn Willows at 5.
Okay.
And that was immediately up to like 20 within a week.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other big hit I got? Blazing Shoal.
Sure.
Those were dollar binder material. Man, this turn 2 Tasker is going to do a great job of applying a ton of pressure here. One of the reasons that Corey was able to dig himself out of the last game was A, because of the Sphinx the Last Word, but also because Patrick didn't really supply any pressure. But that is totally different here.
Correct. I mean, I think the only thing I could imagine Corey having here is a dictate at the end of Patrick's turn.
Even then, it only puts him at 4 land.
And then really open up into, you know...
So unless Patrick taps out and you can dictate into exhaustion. But I can't imagine Patrick actually tapping mana here. Just play a land and attack for 4.
Sure. Let's see how it goes. Here's a land.
Okay, I'm done with the suspend here. Not super high on it, but if you don't have a cryptic command, that's fine.
Don't think Corey has the dictate. He's just gonna... Yep. He's got the Giga Drowse.
Giga Drowse could be a big deal here. Oh, what a draw for Patrick.
Yes, you could Giga Drowse down all his black lands after taking 4. Oh, wow. So this Giga Drowse for 3 is huge.
Oh, Dispel. Wow.
See, Giga Drowse was just a better play there because it creates copies on the stack.
Right.
So he could have dispelled one. Like, he probably would have dispelled the one that targeted the Tasker.
Right.
But...
Yeah, Giga Drowse for 3. Definitely better there. He didn't get the draw from the Cryptic command,
Right.
but definitely keeps him alive. But he's got 5 lands and a Howling Mine. So the game now is his to lose. He gets to try to go off.
Yep, here we go. Oh, that's brutal. The Temporal Mastery was the second card he drew, not the first one.
Sure.
Alright.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty.
So another Howling Mine. Let's see what we can do here. He's got Part the Water Veil and an Inkmoth Nexus. So this is part of the... Okay, so he's going to cast Part the Water Veil.
Not enough mana to awaken. Now we have enough mana to awaken. 6 counters on the Inkmoth.
So he has to activate it in order for it to deal poison damage.
Correct.
So that's important to remember.
Another Part the Water Veil.
Man! So the Cryptic command really, oh wow, he had... See, this Turbo Turns deck is really interesting. I mean, that came out of nowhere. I thought he was dead to rights.
Dead to rights. Yeah, so anytime you let him untap with 5 mana and the draw engine, like, he can very easily go off. Like, you have to be careful there. I agree with
I think
Patrick attacking with the Tasker alone there.
Right, but not the animated land.
Not the animated land, and then the Cryptic command. When you just attack with the Tasker, it loses a lot of value there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, you know, your Dispel still. You have your Counter Squall, all that up.
Right, yeah. Like if he just says move to combat and he wants to Cryptic command the Tasker,
right?
Then he can, you know, dispel it or whatever his choice is. You know, spend the minimal amount of mana because you need to counter squall that first time walk.
Right. So as Corey showed you there, he had the counter magic backup. However, all of his stuff is very expensive. So if you're interacting with his extra turn stuff early, very small chance that he'll actually be able to interact back with you.
Right. Well, we got one more round to go. We got about 10 minutes to go find it. Come back and join us. See who's going to... we're going to find something hopefully a little bit more quick. I want to see somebody attack.
You want to see somebody attack? All right. Well, we saw some attacking there, but...
Unlike every turn of the game.
Every turn of the game is a bit aggressive. All right. We'll see you guys soon.